Have you ever wondered why some men effortlessly attract high-value women while others struggle? No matter how much they try, what makes a man magnetic isn't always about looks, money, or status. Often it comes down to something deeper, his boundaries. But here's the real secret. Boundaries aren't walls you put up to push people away. They are the rules of how you live your life, the standards that show others what you will and will not accept. And nothing is more attractive to a high-value woman than a man who knows his own worth and refuses to compromise it. Before we dive into this powerful Stoic lesson, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and watch this video until the end, because what I'm about to share can completely change the way women see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Now let's explore 6 powerful boundaries, inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, that will instantly attract high-value women. 1. The boundary of self-respect. Have you ever fallen for someone so deeply that you started forgetting who you were? Think back to that one woman, the one who made your heart race. Remember how you stayed awake at night, staring at your phone waiting for her reply? Remember how you lowered your standards just to keep her interested? Maybe you let things slide, little things that didn't feel right. The way she ignored you in public, the way she made you compete for her attention, the way she left your texts unanswered for hours while you waited like a prisoner for her next move. Be honest, didn't you feel it? That little voice inside you whispering, this isn't respect, this isn't love. But you ignored it, because when you're blinded by feelings, when you're terrified of losing someone, you convince yourself that sacrificing your self-respect is worth it, as long as she stays. Now pause for a moment. Think about your own love story. Has there been a time when you gave more than you received? A time when you bent your back to keep someone happy, but deep down you felt smaller every day? This is where Marcus Aurelius's wisdom hits like lightning. He said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Do you see what he's saying? He's reminding you that respect doesn't start with others. It starts with you. A high-value woman, one who truly knows her worth, can smell it instantly when a man does not respect himself. She can sense it in the way he chases, in the way he apologizes for things that aren't his fault, in the way he accepts breadcrumbs instead of love. And here's the truth. When you don't respect yourself, you silently give her permission to disrespect you. But the opposite is just as powerful. When you draw the line and say, this is how I expect to be treated. Anything less, and I'm gone. You awaken something in her, respect, admiration, desire, because nothing is more attractive than a man who doesn't beg, a man who doesn't chase validation, a man who is complete with or without her. So let me ask you this. What would your love life look like if you raised your standards today? If you stopped chasing approval and started valuing yourself as the prize? Imagine her seeing you differently, not as another man desperate for attention, but as a rare man who knows his worth, a man who doesn't bend for love but attracts it naturally. That's the power of self-respect. It's not arrogance. It's not pride. It's the quiet confidence that says, I am whole with or without you. And when you live this way, women don't just notice you, they chase you. Because the man who respects himself is the man she cannot forget. The boundary of emotional control. Have you ever been in love with someone who made you feel like you were on a roller coaster? One moment you're flying high, her smile, her laugh, the way she looks at you. The next moment she pulls back, ignores your messages, or tests you with silence. And suddenly that high comes crashing down. You feel your stomach twist. Your mind races. Did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I text her again? Should I call? Be honest, haven't you been there before? We've all been. In fact, let me take you deeper. Imagine this. She takes hours, sometimes even days to reply. And when she finally does, it's just a short message. Nothing like the ones you send her. You feel the fire rise in your chest, anger, frustration, panic. Maybe you even type out a long message demanding answers, or you call her 3 times in a row, hoping she'll finally give you peace of mind. But what happens then? She doesn't see a strong man. She sees a man who is controlled by his emotions. And once she sees that, respect fades. Attraction dies. Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That is the heart of emotional control. It's not about ignoring your feelings, it's about mastering them. It's about refusing to let her actions dictate your peace. Think about this carefully. Every high-value woman, whether she admits it or not, will test a man. Not always out of cruelty, but to see what he's made of. If she pushes a little, will he stay calm or collapse? If she delays her reply, will he lose his patience or hold his center? Here's the secret. Women don't want a man who mirrors their emotional storms. They want a man who remains steady when the storm hits. They want a man whose calmness makes them feel safe. Ask yourself, what's more powerful? A man who shouts when he's disrespected? Or a man who calmly walks away without a single word? A man who argues back and forth for hours, or a man who simply says, "This doesn't work for me," and carries himself with dignity? Your calmness is your strength. Your control is your power. Remember your own love memories. Think about the times you lost control. What did it cost you? Maybe it pushed her away. Maybe it made her see you differently. Now imagine if instead of reacting you stayed calm. Imagine her surprise. Imagine her realizing, this man cannot be shaken. That is how respect is born. That is how attraction deepens. The Stoic man doesn't give his peace away. He doesn't argue for validation. He doesn't panic at silence. He chooses calm every time, and that calmness is what makes a high-value woman look at you differently, not as a boy chasing emotions, but as a man who rules himself. And when you master this boundary, she won't just want you, she'll respect you in a way no one else ever has. For the boundary of purpose first. Have you ever lost yourself in a relationship? Think back to that woman who had your heart. Do you remember how you used to cancel your plans, skip the gym, forget your goals just to spend more time with her? At first it felt sweet. She smiled when you made her your world. But slowly something changed. She began to look at you differently. The man she once admired, the man with dreams, the man with drive, slowly faded. Instead of chasing your purpose, you were chasing her approval. And even though you thought this would bring her closer, deep down you could feel her slipping away. Be honest, have you been there before? Loving someone so much that you put your mission on pause, thinking love alone would be enough? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Stop wasting time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Those words carry a lesson many men forget. A woman may fall for your charm, but she stays for your direction. High-value women are drawn to men with a mission, not men who live day to day waiting for someone else to validate them, but men who wake up with purpose. A man who knows where he's going creates a natural gravity. People want to be around him. Women want to follow him, and life begins to bend toward him. Let's go back to your love story. Imagine if instead of putting everything on hold for her, you stayed on your path. Imagine her watching you work on your goals, seeing the discipline in your eyes, feeling the fire in your ambition. Do you think she would lose interest? Or would she see you as rare, as a man unlike the rest? Here's the paradox. When you make a woman the center of your universe, she loses interest. But when you make your purpose the center, she leans in. She respects you. She admires you. She feels safer with you because she knows your identity doesn't depend on her, it depends on something higher. Think about the strongest men in history. Warriors, leaders, philosophers. Did they abandon their mission for love? No, they carried their mission and love followed them. Now ask yourself, what is your mission? What is the thing that sets your soul on fire? Have you been putting it aside, hoping that love will complete you? Or are you walking boldly toward it, trusting that the right woman will join you along the way? Because here's the truth. Women do not truly fall in love with men who orbit around them. They fall in love with men who walk their own path, and who invite her to walk beside them. Not in front, not behind, but beside. So the boundary is clear. Never abandon your purpose for a woman. Because a woman may love your heart, but she will respect your drive. And when you live this way, you don't just attract love, you attract the kind of love that lasts. 4. The boundary of selective access. Have you ever given too much of yourself too soon to a woman who hadn't earned it yet? Think back to that one woman. Maybe she was beautiful. Maybe she smiled in a way that made you feel like the world stopped. And what did you do? You opened your entire world to her. You told her your deepest secrets. You made yourself available at every hour. You dropped everything when she called. In your mind, this was love. But in her eyes, it was too much, too fast. Be honest with yourself, didn't she start to pull away? Didn't she begin to take you for granted as if your time and attention were cheap? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, the people you allow close to you shape who you become. That's why the Stoic man is selective. He doesn't hand out his presence freely. He makes people earn access to his inner world. Now picture your own love story. Imagine if instead of giving her everything on day one, you held a little back. Not in a manipulative way, but in a disciplined way. Imagine if you let her discover you slowly, piece by piece. Instead of dumping your whole life story on the table, imagine if your time wasn't always available. If she had to earn your attention by showing her respect, loyalty, and consistency. Do you see the difference? One version of you is an open book that anyone can read and toss aside. The other version of you is a rare novel, hard to find, worth the wait, and impossible to put down once she starts reading. High-value women are not impressed by men who are easy to access. They are impressed by men who know their worth and protect it. The truth is, when you are always available, you become replaceable. But when you are selective, you become unforgettable. Ask yourself, how many times have you rushed into a connection and later regretted it? How many times have you given your time, energy, and love to someone who hadn't proved they deserved it? Now imagine the opposite. Imagine holding your ground, taking your time, and watching as she leaned in harder, trying to win your respect. Imagine her realizing that your attention is not something she can demand. It's something she has to earn. That's the essence of this boundary. Selective access is about remembering that not everyone deserves to know the deepest parts of you. Your time, your energy, your love, they are valuable. They are gold. And gold is not handed out freely, it is treasured. So the next time you feel tempted to overgive, stop and remind yourself, a king does not let everyone sit at his table. Access must be earned, and when you live by this, not only will women respect you more, but the right woman will rise to meet your standards. 5. The boundary of detachment from outcome. Have you ever felt that knot in your chest while waiting for a woman's response? You send her a message and then silence. Minutes turn into hours. Hours feel like days. You keep checking your phone over and over again, hoping, praying for her reply. And in those moments, your entire mood, your entire peace depends on one thing: her decision to reply. Sound familiar? We've all been there. And the truth is, it's not just about texting. It's about how much power you give away when you're attached to the outcome. You ask her out. If she says yes, you're on top of the world. If she says no, your heart sinks into the floor. You try to impress her. If she notices, you're glowing. If she doesn't, you feel invisible. But here's the dangerous part. When your emotions rise and fall depending on what she does, you're no longer in control, she is. And that is exactly what kills attraction. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." What does that mean in love? It means this: you don't control her reply, her interest, her actions. You only control yourself, your effort, your mindset, your reaction. The moment you tie your happiness to her outcome, you lose yourself. Think about your own love story. Have you ever clung to someone who didn't value you, only to realize later that letting go was the best thing you could have done? Didn't you feel lighter once the weight was gone? Didn't you rediscover yourself when the begging stopped? High-value women, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to men who can walk away, because that boundary says everything. I will give you love, I will give you loyalty, but I will never give you my dignity. Imagine this scenario. She disrespects you. She plays games. She takes you for granted. A low-value man argues, begs, pleads, and stays. But the Stoic man? He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't chase. He simply says, "This doesn't work for me," and leaves with his head held high. Do you know what happens in that moment? She feels something she didn't expect: respect. She realizes this man cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be trapped. And whether she admits it or not, she'll think of him long after he's gone. Ask yourself, how would your life change if you had the courage to walk away from anything less than respect? If you stopped fearing loss and started valuing your peace? Because the truth is, walking away is not about ending love. It's about protecting your soul. It's about saying, I would rather be alone with dignity than together with disrespect. And when you live this way, you don't just attract high-value women, you attract high-value relationships. Relationships built on respect, not fear. On choice, not desperation. So remember this: the power to walk away is the power to never lose yourself again. And that, my friend, is the most attractive boundary of them all. Final reflection: all 6 of these boundaries, self-respect, emotional control, purpose first, selective access, detachment, and walking away, are not just rules for attracting women. They are principles for living a powerful life. Marcus Aurelius never chased approval. never bent his principles for temporary gain, and never gave away his peace. He lived with discipline, honor, and wisdom. And when you embody these same boundaries, not only will you attract high-value women, you will also build a life that commands respect. So ask yourself, which of these boundaries do you need to enforce today? And what would your life look like if you stopped living for approval and started living by principle? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.